What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Jacob Trouba in the Winnipeg Jets and what is going to go down with them, because they have a lot of questions this offseason. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs have been a team that a lot of people look at and go, oh, they have lots of cap problems, this, that, and the other. Well, Winnipeg does as well, and I mean, that happens with good teams, and Winnipeg is a fantastic hockey team. They've got a lot of questions going into this offseason, and I think they're going to be one of the teams to watch when it comes to moves that they make. So let's look at some pieces that I have here that I want to talk about. So first of all, there were some good articles from Sportsnet, and of course you can always get some good information from Cap Friendly and stuff like that, and it got me thinking a little bit. There's some things that Winnipeg might have to do to be able to fit these numbers under the cap, and I think Jacob Trouba, according to everything we've heard, might be the odd man out. We know that they've had a little bit of problems back and forth, but out of the playoffs now, of course, and they have Trouba to deal with. He's a restricted free agent. They've got Laine, Kyle Connor, Blake Wheeler's extension is kicking in. Of course, Kevin Hayes, who did quite well for them, is an unrestricted free agent as well. Are they going to try to be able to keep him there? They've got Tyler Myers, who's a UFA as well. Depth players, it says here, another from Sportsnet, Brandon Tanev. But we're just going to take a look here, because it looks as though that Winnipeg doesn't have the most money to be able to keep everybody together unless they make some moves, which is very possible. So we're going to head over to their Cap Friendly, and according to this, it should say they should have around $23 million in cap space. I'm going to say 24 just to round it up, just to be, Winnipeg Jets fans, just in case it's a little bit higher. I don't want to make you guys all mad, but like I mentioned before, Kevin Hayes, one of their big pickups. Brandon Tanev, who is probably going to get a raise off his $1.1 million. Andrew Kopp, who could get a raise. Par Lindholm's probably gone. Connor's definitely getting a raise. Patrick Laine's 100% getting a raise. Matt Hendricks is a UFA. He'll probably be gone. Jacob Trouba, the guy that we're going to talk about mostly here. Tyler Myers at 5.5. He's probably looking to stick around. They'll probably try to get him under contract, especially if they move Trouba. Nathan Beaulieu, Ben Sherritt, Joe Morrow, Kieslevich, and then in goal, Lauren Brossoit, who had a pretty good season, and Eric Comrie. So they have quite a lot of deals to make with only $23 million. They don't have their first round pick this year or a third round pick. And believe me, that all ties into everything, because they're going to have to maneuver around some stuff. And if they have to attach a pick to a player to trade them or something like that, we'll have to see. Not Trouba. You got to remember, Jacob Trouba is a guy that's probably being looked at by a lot of teams and thinking, okay, big right-handed shot defenseman. What, he's 6'3", 200 pounds, just over 200 pounds, 202. He's 25 years old, had his best season this year, having 50 points. He's been a plus defenseman, even though I'm not a big plus-minus guy, but he's been a plus defenseman. He was a +8 this year. He had 24 points last year in 55 games, 60 games the year before that. He had 33 points. Like, he can put up points when he's healthy, and like I said, he played all 82 this year and had 50 points. So big right-handed shot, can put up points, maybe not the best defensively, but still a guy that can get it done. So is Trouba the odd man out? Do they want to keep Myers, because he's been a guy that has produced for them as well? And I got to mention it again, like there's some notes here too. We've seen the back and forth between Winnipeg and Trouba. I mean, in his year-end press conference this year, he wasn't even guaranteeing that he would sign a long-term deal with Winnipeg if it was even open. He said, I'm going to say the same thing I always say. We're going to deal with it in the summer. If something comes about, then that's what happens. So, again, not really fully putting all of his cards in on Winnipeg here. And I would love to, be a player playing for Winnipeg. They've got a great team, but maybe the money isn't there and the relationship isn't there as well. So we're going to look into some numbers here, because prior to the 2016-17 season, he was basically saying that he wanted to get traded out. He was talking about requesting a trade, and then they kind of fell back and were like, okay, whatever, we're gonna work on something here. He was an RFA last summer, and they, the arbitration. I don't know how to speak English some days, but apparently it was a marathon. That's what it literally, they talked about. It was a marathon, and that they were far apart. They weren't, getting close to a number. They were like $3 million apart, and Trouba was looking for like $7 million per season, which in an open market, he's probably getting that. So I'll get into an offer sheet in a second, because we'll have to see what happens there. But generally speaking, most NHL arbitration cases get settled before, and it goes to a ruling. Basically, if a player is gifted a contract, or if a team is gifted a better number. And Trouba won, I guess. He was given a 1-year, $5.5 million deal, and then he had a 2-year bridge deal, and now in 2019, he's 1 year away from being an unrestricted free agent. So this, you got to question now, do you risk keeping Trouba around and let Myers go for free, or do you try to get Myers and get as much as you can from Trouba? Because Trouba, it says here too, 82 games. He played all 82. Like I said, he had 50 points, but he also averaged 22 minutes per game. So big right-handed shot, puts up points, can log minutes. Like, I mean, that's very good. Like, we can't just beat around the bush here. Like, it's pretty good. And again, not the best defensively, but still very, very good. I've seen some people say they don't like him defensively, but I firmly believe that he's a really good top 4 guy, and that he can play in any role. And I just like the way that he plays. So with $23 million in cap room, 4 defensemen signed, 1 goalie signed, and 7 forwards signed, Trouba is a guy that can fetch Winnipeg some relief when it comes to getting some more help forward and maybe defensively, while probably not breaking the bank, because Trouba is a guy that can fetch you something. And, there's even been talk that Ehlers might have to get moved to clear out space, so they've got a lot of decisions to make, but Trouba's going to fetch you quite a bit. And looking at Gord Miller, he put out the compensation for an offer sheet. It makes you think, if teams are looking at this situation and going, man, Winnipeg is going to have to make all these tough decisions, I wonder if it's worth it giving an offer sheet for Jacob Trouba in Winnipeg. Because the compensation, you have to think he'd probably be for the compensation around the $6 to $8 million range, which would obviously tie Winnipeg to not be able to match it, more than likely, and maybe they wouldn't want to. But the compensation for that is a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a 3rd-round pick. So teams wouldn't have to give up a roster player. They would just be giving up 3 picks. Now, is that really fair value for Trouba? You can make that decision. I honestly would rather them get a pick, like a high pick, like a 1st or a 2nd, plus a really good prospect and a roster player, or a mix of something like that with a 1st-round pick and a roster player. Because Winnipeg's a team that wants to be good right now. They have a chance at being a Stanley Cup champion, while this window is still open. They've got a fantastic hockey team. They've got talent up and down the entire lineup. And Trouba's been a part of it. He's been very good. But you have to wonder if Winnipeg is weighing the options, saying, listen, like, we like Trouba, but it's time for him to go. We've got big decisions to make. We can bring in somebody here. Myers is a guy we got to lock up. We got to try to get Line and Connor under a contract. Wheeler's extension's kicking in. We've still got a ton of talent like Bufflin, Scheifele. There's guys there. Is Ehlers going to get traded? I don't know, but Trouba is the big piece that could be a trade piece coming out of Winnipeg. And not a lot of top 4 right-handed defensemen are coming out on the trade market right now who are young, who can play in a lot of different situations and put up points. So let me know down below, what do you guys think? Is Trouba going to get traded? Where could he get traded to? Is there going to be an offer sheet? Just let me know, guys, because it's going to be a crazy offseason, and Winnipeg has a lot of decisions to make. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. We're on our way to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for all the new subscribers and helping me get to 5,000. Working on a better setup. The one downstairs that I had before is just not working, so it's going to be much better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.